Good evening. My name is Roger Stevens. I'm a salsa instructor at Viva Dance Studio. I typically teach on tune and specifically shines. Today we're going to talk about one of the easy ways to find the one in the music, especially as a beginner student. It's typically overwhelmed with the instrumentation, the rich instrumentation of salsa music. Prior to dancing salsa or deciding to dance salsa, I was a lead guitarist in various types of bands, various genres. And when I was a lead guitarist in a few jazz bands, I became acutely aware of the repetitive nature of some of the instrumentation. For example, the piano. In my opinion, that is one of the easiest instruments that a new student who has not yet trained their ear to be able to hear the conga, the tumbao pattern that the conga plays, or the clave, which aren't always audible in the mix of a song, especially in a venue that's very loud, or if your ears are already fatigued. So let's go over one of the quick and dirty ways to find the one. Okay, so today we're going to get into, I'll say, part one of the quick and dirty way to find the one. As a new student, a lot of times new students are overwhelmed with all of the rich instrumentation in salsa music, especially the percussion. And what you'll sometimes hear from instructors is listening for the clave or the tumbao, which is the conga patterns. The thing is, those instruments aren't always audible in the mix. And especially if you're in a venue that's used to playing things like reggaeton or hip hop, they boost the bass and they attenuate or turn down the mid-range a bit. That's where a lot of those instruments reside. And that's assuming they were even audible when the song was produced. What I think would be a good approach that kind of stands out a little more is to listen for the piano. Typically, the piano plays a repetitive figure called the montuno. And the piano has a wide range of pitches it can play, so it can play down low where you're likely to hear it. The other thing I want you to consider is listen for the rhythm that the piano is playing. Listen to the pattern that it plays as if it were a sentence. I want you to maybe count 1 through 8 as you listen to the piano. You may find, or you're likely to find, a natural pause or a tone at about the 4th beat that sounds like it needs to be resolved. Similar to the way that we speak when we're constructing sentences. We start an idea, comma, and then we resolve the idea. See how that kind of works. We return back to center, back home, back to the key of the song. So there are songs that you can listen to that will also play 16 beat figures. Those figures are similar to sentences that we construct where there's multiple parts, but there's still commas in between those multiple parts. With time and active listening, you'll start to be able to discern when a phrase begins and ends. Now, one of the other reasons why this is important is because musicians, composers, and arrangers will sometimes end a phrase after 4 beats and not after 8. And our basic step is 8 beats. So even you experienced dancers, if you're sure that at some point you did not lose track of your basic, but you find that you're on the 5 now, you're starting your 1 step on a 5. It's likely because the musicians have ended that phrase after 4 beats instead of 8. They do that to create tension. It's a great way to do that, and that's pretty much a big part of what music is, creating tension and resolution. Once you become aware of that, you can decide to either pause or do various steps that will enable you to start again. So now you're back in cohesion with the structure of the song. In part 2, I'll provide some examples, and we'll talk about some of the other things that kind of work with listening to the montuno. one other issue. The bass is also going to typically follow the piano. In a lot of songs, you'll hear a repetitive bass pattern as well. And I will also include some simple musical examples within links for this post, and then you can go ahead and listen to them. Feel free to give me some feedback, and stay tuned for part 2. Thank you.